everyone.
Good morning. Afternoon, sorry, day. Whatever.
Good day.
A good
day.
one.
Sal, we're about on the same time zone now. And morning, Alberto.
Morning. Hi, Sarah.
Morning. Ajahn. Ajahn is there. Morning, Ajahn.
Swadika, can you hear me?
Sawadika, Ajahn. Yes, we can hear you. Sawadika, Ajahn.
Sawadee krap, Ajahn. Sawadee krap.
Ajahn.
So I think we can start. Do you like to start? Nina, did you hear me? Would you like to start?
Oh, yes. I heard that when the seeing sees visible object, the world is light only for a while. But I find not enough consideration of the world that is light. I cannot imagine that. So it is very useful if Ajahn can speak more about the world is light.
Do we have to think of the world at moment of seeing? Or what is there is seen? No need to think about it, whether it appears as light or color or whatever it is. But seeing is there. And seeing now sees. If it hasn't arisen, they cannot be seeing right now. That's why now at this moment, what is there has been arisen and then gone. But that is the truth, the far away, the very, very subtle truth that can be directly understood when there's a little more understanding of what is there, which hasn't been known yet. For example, even that which is seen, only that which is seen does not appear as it is seen only. And the reality which experiences it sees, no shape, no form at all. It's just that which sees at moment of seeing, that's all. Just develop the understanding of what is there as it is, little by little. Otherwise, no thought about the seeing, which arises and falls away all the time, from moment to moment in a day. Never thought about it at all. That's why beginning to understand what is there by conditions. It's there. So it is that which sees or that which experiences that which is seen. That's all. Gradually thinking about it, times to time to time, until it develops itself to begin to understand how many moments, no thought about it at all, and begin to be conditioned to think about it. Even thinking is not there in a day, until it's heard again and again about that which sees now is not known yet. That's why even it's there from moment to moment is not known. That's why the development of understanding the truth that what is there? Seeing, no one, no thing. Understand it, seeing, not just the word, but the moment when it's there. Sees, that's all. Gradually remember the truth of it by conditions. but it does not appear as we have talked about it yet. But the truth of it, the noble truth, the absolute truth is that it's a reality which sees, that's all. It has to be developed on and on and on by conditions, hearing, considering. It's there, beginning to attend to the characteristic gradually, little by little, to be acquainted to the reality which experience an object one at a time, beginning to have confidence of the truth. And that is the fourth noble truth, so very subtle. It has to develop from hearing, considering, intellectual understanding so firm enough to condition moment of beginning to understand not only that which is seeing or that which sees, but any reality which is there, unknown at all from moment to moment, from life to life, until it's there so close, beginning to have more confidence of the truth from hearing. And that is the function of right understanding, develops gradually, so very little at a time, by conditions. And that is so true because if there is no understanding of what is there now at all, how can there be that letting go of I see, I like, I think, I want, and so on and on. Just develops at moment of understanding from moment to moment, that's all. And this is the subtle way, the subtle truth that it is a reality which understands the truth of what is there very little, gradually, from moment to moment, develop until it is there in daily life, no matter what is there is known as it is, just a moment of seeing, a moment of thinking. But thinking has to be there to be known. That is a moment of thinking. And seeing has to be known at moment when it sees that it's there, at moment of seeing right now. Only that from life to life, from life to life, until it's so firm, unknowingly, until it's there by conditions. How come to understand that? Even so very little, because even right understanding has to develop. So very little, even it's known or directly experienced, just a little, not all of them yet, stage by stage has to be developed by understanding that it's there now. And if that which is there now is not known, how can there be the understanding of no one there at all? Just think again, consider again, hearing again. And this is the only way it develops in a moment to moment of understanding, little by little. That's all. For example, now we have talked about seeing so many, many times, and it will be on in life, on and on and on. But as it does not appear as it is, because not enough understanding of the truth of it, just learn to understand it at the moment of talking about it, and can be at the moment with that condition to just get closer to it, but it's gone. So never enough at all. Get closer, closer to the reality which experiences an object right now, no matter what. And this is the understanding of the development of the fourth path of the noble truth. Understanding only can understand the truth of what is there, which is deeper and deeper, subtler and subtler each moment, to know that it's so far away beyond expectation. The truth is that in life, in circle of birth and death, on and on and on, the only way is beginning to think about it until in a day, when the understanding is there, how much thinking about it, or not at all, or not today, or not now, and so on. Be truthful to the truth. That's why even right now, how much understanding of what is there, not just the word, but the characteristic that we have studied, we have learned, we have thought about to understand that it is just a moment of experiencing an object. So it depends on whether that moment it experiences what. Never be the same at all from moment to moment. And that is the great Santi and Virya, to develop the understanding from hearing, considering by conditions again and again and again until it reach or get closer to the characteristic of that with understanding. Depending on that moment, what is there thinking or what is there as directly known, just as it is sati. It's not just that which experiences the object, but it's that which is aware of the characteristic of what is there. So very, very little until it develops on and on and on without expectation, because it's beyond expectation. It has to go on by its way, its own path, understanding little by little, just like now. Just have confidence of the truth that it's there. The truth is as we have learned, but it does not appear as it is yet, but it's there to be object of understanding anytime by conditions, little by little. And what is there can be known, not just the object through the eyes, ears, nose, tongue experience, but whatever is there unexpectedly can be known, whether it's greed or attachment or aversion or irritation or whatever, without any word, beyond any word, it's there, shows up as it is, depending on how much understanding of its characteristic as it is. Even it's so very little, without it, there cannot be moment of really experience the truth of it at all. And this is the words of letting go, attachment, ignorance. Very gradually, it's there. We are thinking, hearing, talking about it, and the characteristic of it is there, but not known yet until there are right conditions, unexpectedly, very, very gradually, even the moment of direct awareness with a little understanding. So very little in the beginning, and then on, gradually, unexpectedly, patiently. Nothing can be done. Only it's the moment of how much understanding of the truth of whatever is there. So we learn about it, everything's there. In order just whatever appears, there is the understanding of that which appears that has been learned. Ready to understand it. When there's enough understanding of what is there as it is, so very little. So in the beginning, it is a moment of understanding what is that which is aware, a reality. Even awareness is a reality. It does not show up now when it's not there. But when it's there, it arises with understanding of its nature as it's just different from other reality because it is aware directly of an object. Even the understanding is not very much, just very little, but it's there already as it is. Sati, awareness, Samma, it understands the object that is there to be known directly. No other way at all. Just have confidence of the truth of the path. It has to be only the Eightfold Path. No one there at all. Right understanding of what is there. Gradually, from hearing, considering, until it's directly understand just one reality at a time. So very short, but it's there already, different from moment when it's not direct awareness of that object, which is now appearing, but not directly be aware of. And the moment when there is awareness, even just a little, it is the beginning to know that it's that which has to develop the understanding to understand it as nothing at all. So all the teachings of the Buddha just condition the understanding of what is there now to be known directly, gradually. He just taught about whatever is there now, anytime, to be understood, to be aware of, to understand the nature of no self and no thing and no one at all.
Achan, you said no one there at all, but it's very difficult when something happens, like I have to leave my home for 5 days because of asbestos. And it depends, I'm thinking of myself all the time, how to do it, how to manage it, and I forget the absolute reality. It is conditioned, I know, it is conditioned, but it is difficult to know, to realize what is really important.
So very, very difficult in samsara. How many, how long? Years and years ago gone without understanding, without hearing, without considering, until this life, it's time conditioned to hear the teachings, to understand that in truth, seeing is only seeing, but no one there at all, no understanding of it, and it sees. So who else? So it's I see, I all the time from birth. But in truth, the Buddha taught about the absolute truth. What is there? The reality which arises to experience an object, the beginning of life. Without it, any moment, no life at all. So learn to understand what is taken for life, a moment of experiencing an object, no matter the object is known or not. That's why we learn about all kinds of realities in life from moment to moment. But there must be the reality which experiences the object. But we haven't heard about it before. So it's I all the way, all the time, until the teaching about the truth of what is there beginning to be thought about, to consider carefully, to have confidence whether it's I or someone, or it's just a moment, conditioned just to see and then gone, having more confidence of the truth. That is the sanya, which is the moment of understanding what is there, even memory or remembrance is just a reality, it's there. But so many realities are there right now. And if Buddha didn't teach about the truth of it, how can anyone know? The chief of experiencing an object is conditioned to arise with other reality, which arises together, experience the same object, but it cannot be the chief of experiencing because it has its own characteristic and its own function. So learn to understand what is there in a moment until it develops to have more confidence that what can be realized now, that which sees and that which is seen in a moment by conditions. Nobody can arrange or can have it arise at all. And now we are talking about seeing. It's there all the time, it seems. But at moment of hearing, it cannot be there. But it seems that seeing is also there, while there is hearing and thinking, talking, see. And what is the truth, the absolute truth of what is there in a moment? Beginning to have right understanding of the truth from the very beginning, since it is as it is, but it does not appear as it is. So the intellectual understanding developed to understand the absolute truth. And as it's so true, there can be moment of understanding the truth after hearing, considering, until there are conditions for that very moment to begin to understand that it's not just hearing about the truth, but to understanding it, that it is there to be known. And there can be the understanding of it when the understanding of its truth is enough right now or at any time by conditions. So it's lifetime task or development to understand what is there from birth in a day, every day, even right now. Patiently, that's why there has to be the Anti Parami from moment to moment to develop very gradual understanding of the truth, stage by stage, that they are seeing right now. It's true. And what is the nature of it? Is there someone there besides seeing, or there is seeing at moment of seeing? And what is seen is just that which is experienced only, not at the back, or when it does not impinge on the eye base. Just only that, see, hearing again and again and again, understanding develops. But attachment or the wish or desire is there to experience it. But it's a reality, different reality. It's a wish or the thinking of trying to have more understanding than just the way it is by conditions. So right understanding understands the truth of whatever is there. Because seeing is not wishing or desire or attachment. Seeing just sees, but after seeing, ignorance is there and attachment is there, depending on conditions, whether it is a test to understand the truth very soon, or in one's life, or in this life, and so on, depending on conditions, whatever is there. That's why we learn a little more about different realities to understand that it's there. It's not understanding, but what it is, wholesome or unwholesome, mental factors arising together. That's why learning about life, daily life, each moment in life, to understand the truth. And understanding begins to develop gradually, little by little. Is it right? So very little, but it's there, developing from moment to moment. So how long will it take to understand what is there in life? No choice, not by selection, because what is there is conditioned to appear because it has a reason. That's why no one at all, only conditioned seeing to arise, or hearing to arise, or thinking in such and such way to arise, all by conditions. And no one can stop the arising of that which experiences the object from moment to moment, because by its proper conditions, we say that the reality, the chitta, the chief of experiencing an object, as soon as it falls away, it conditions the other, the next moment to arise instantly by anantara paccaya. See, who can stop it? It's that right now to understand different conditions for whatever condition, such and such reality at such and such time or object to appear. Right now, is it just what we have talked about? The truth of it? It's learned gradually to have confidence of the truth. That's why no I, no one, only different realities from life to life. Just only one in lifetime, in samsara, never to arise again. See, it keeps on going on and on and on. Understanding is no one. It understands and then it's gone, and it develops little by little to understand. A little more, a little more, a little more. As parami. There's so many different realities in a day, but what has to be there is the chief, the reality is experiencing the object clearly. That's all. And that is the world. If nothing arises at all, how can there be anything as the world? The moon, the sky, the water, the mountain, the trees, the whatever. So no one can stop birth, no one can stop death, no one can stop seeing, hearing, because it's not in life and gone. And this is the moment of letting go ignorance and attachment when it understands the truth, even from hearing, considering, or thinking, or attending to the characteristic of that which is there, little by little. See, gone, arising and falling away, no understanding of the truth. It's something arising and then gone. Again, gone. It was there, hearing and sound, and then gone. Each moment.
Yotika, were you wishing to say something? Go ahead.
Yes,
Go ahead.
but it is not so much a question. It looks more a cry for help. Is that okay?
Of course, always glad to hear from you, Yotika. Go ahead.
This morning there was this experience. I became fearful all of a sudden because last month I was happy with a sentence of the Dhammapada. If one knew oneself to be precious, one would guard oneself with care. I was so happy with that, and all of a sudden this morning it was like wrong practice. And I thought, I cannot do anything more. I cannot think about the hindrances. I cannot think about the seven enlightenment factors. I thought even I cannot go anymore to this zoo. I don't know. I need help with it.
The guarding has to be the development of sati and panya together to guard from what is unwholesome. But as you've suggested, you or I or anyone cannot do that guarding, cannot do the protecting. And as Ajahn was saying, the seeing, the hearing, the birth, the death, life after life, they have to arise by conditions. Kusala, akusala have to arise by conditions. So even the sati, which guards with understanding, it arises by conditions. Sometimes, other times, it doesn't arise. And sometimes we may think, oh, well, I cannot think about this or that. But that's just more thinking for a moment and then it's gone. Also by conditions. Like we may think, I cannot listen to any more of the Buddha's teachings one moment, and the next moment one's listening anyway by conditions. So this is life. We never know what will arise next, like Nina's question, thinking about light or some confusion for a moment, and then it's gone. Seeing, and then it's gone. Hearing, and then it's gone. Thinking about right practice or wrong practice, and then it's gone, because they're just moments of conditioned reality. And in truth, not I that has right understanding or follows wrong practice or guards or doesn't guard. So it's just the natural way it is. Moments of fear, moments of understanding, just different realities, very natural, nothing special. And it's like that for everyone. Different moments, different realities.
Is this another discovery on this the self.
It is, because it's all about
Yes.
oneself that is fearful, oneself that cannot think this way, or oneself that's following wrong practice. But better to know, because usually in a day we think so much about oneself, even when
But
being.
it was. I felt so happy with this verse from the Dhammapada. So it looks like that's not even okay. I don't know. It's just like if one
That's
knew oneself to be precious, one would guard oneself with care.
that's
I
why
found the
even
translation.
even each word, like in each word in the Dhammapada, has to be considered carefully. Like, what does it mean to know oneself? We use conventional language like know oneself, but we know that in truth, actually know oneself. So knowing oneself, it just means knowing kusala, knowing akusala, knowing seeing, knowing hearing, knowing the different realities which are taken for oneself. So with understanding, one can still talk about you and me, oneself, themselves, but understanding that actually know oneself in truth, just different realities that are being referred to. So through the understanding of those realities, which we call oneself, there is the guarding from unwholesome states arising gradually, little by little.
Jyotika,
Yeah.
Jyotika, I was just going to say that I'm familiar with that that verse. Now, that word, of course, will be Intl.Dhamma. Now, the Buddha or his disciples, they use that word atta, self, to convey the Dhamma. Like even when we talk about tribute to the Sangha, we say pachaktam wedi tabbo winyuhi. So I mean, by themselves, they have developed the understanding. So the word atta, is used very often, but it's to be understood in the context as not obviously referring to a person, because the core of the teachings is anatta. And recently Maeve was talking about this too, because the Buddha said one time, atta deepa, atta sarana, make it an island for yourself, anya sarana, no other island. So for yourself, so the word atta is used quite often in the teaching. So we need to consider carefully. And that is a very beautiful verse, I agree, because if we value understanding, we see it as precious, we will guard, there will be guarding of oneself, because one will see the value in that, and the consequences, of course, the wise understand if they act if they act, I was going to say not in accordance with Dhamma, because it will still be Dhamma, but if they act unskillfully. So atta is it runs like a red line through the suttas, through the Dhammapada. I think there's even one section of the Dhammapada called the Attavagga. So it's to be understood in context. And I'm sorry, I don't know if perhaps some of this may have been covered, but I just I was going to speak after you spoke. My phone cut out or went away from the Zoom, so I had to spend some time getting back on. But that's still applicable. That verse, it's encouraging you to value the Dhamma as a person in that conventional sense. So the Buddha, as has been alluded to before, he used this word time and time again throughout the suttas, but it's like to be understood in the context as referring to Dhamma in the broader sense of the word, and not obviously as self, because his teachings talk about anatta.
It helps.
So we just need to look at, consider those. I think Sarah has just alluded to that. I believe, Sarah. So you just consider it carefully. Just because the word atta is used, as I said, like when we refer to the Dhamma, that word pratyaktam is used, literally by themselves, that the Dhamma is understood. Nobody else understands the Dhamma. Wisdom, so we refer to a person. You have sometimes, just for when we're in conversation, we have to use the word, the person's name, or refer to them as a person. But we understand in the deeper sense that there's just a convenient construct to enable us to appreciate and to understand Dhamma. So no different. We should see the Dhamma as precious. And if we want to guard ourselves, we will value the Dhamma as precious. And we will value ourselves in that sense.
The next sentence is, the sage will watch over herself in any part of the night.
That's right. So
that's also beautiful.
Yeah, that's true. The wise do that. The wise, from moment to moment, as much as conditions allow, develop understanding and, letting go. I was just looking recently at, the last words of the Buddha, and he was encouraging people to develop understanding. That was his last words. Apamadena sampadeta, to strive earnestly towards understanding the Dhamma. That is the only way, and great patience, and as the Ajahn has alluded to today, is needed for that. So that's what the sages or the bhikkhunis or the bhikkhu do, and at any time, ideally. But as we know, sometimes, and you've kind of alluded to this, people think it's something that they do. But it's something it's the Dhamma is to be understood, and then understanding, when it grows, can begin to appreciate the Dhamma and follow the Dhamma in accordance with how it's meant to be followed, and not the idea of a person, the wrong sense of self, the wrong sense of, the wrong sense of self. So, yeah, I'm just trying to think of that third, when we talk about those silabbata paramasa, the wrongful practices. So Tanajan has referred to this. It's really the behaviors, the behavior of chitta that clings on to, clings wrongly to a certain way. That is what's known as silabbata paramasa. It's a clinging on to a behavior that's not in accordance with Dhamma. So that is taking hold of the Dhamma unskillfully. But when there is skill and there is more appreciation of what the true Dhamma is, there will not be, or less likelihood of behaviors that do not align with Dhamma. So it's a slow thing, but those verses, they're still very relevant and they still apply. And it's just a matter of, as Sarah just spoke about before, I believe, considering them in the context. Like you said, the sage stays mindful. Or do you have the Pali there?
No, it's from Gil Fronsdale.
And Jyotika, would you like to read that sentence again, the one you just read out a minute ago?
The last
about
one?
The sage? Yeah, this last one.
The sage will watch over herself in any part of the night.
Right. And who is the sage?
Yeah, my discovery, I think my whole thing is that I have been with this verse um, using it as me.
Well,
And that is the
you
big
you are
discovery, I think.
you are the sage.
No, the sage is the one who is without
The sage is
defilement, I
the
think.
one who has
Yes,
developed
wisdom.
understanding to a very high degree.
Yeah.
So not you and me. So this is not this is not something that we should look at and think, I can do that, or I should be doing that. This is a description of the person of highly developed understanding.
And in the deepest sense, it is the understanding itself. Like when we talk about the
yes, understanding.
Buddha, actually we're referring to the great wisdom that has enlightened to the truths. And for those that have followed, actually it's the understanding that is being referred to, because no one who can watch over or do anything. So it has to be the understanding itself that watches and guards and understands.
But we should not be setting too higher standards for ourselves, or have any expectations of our level of understanding. Not being able to think of the hindrances or the enlightenment factors, as you mentioned earlier, seems to me pretty normal state of mind. One is often confused about things. Sometimes a certain passage can seem to have meaning for oneself. Other times it doesn't. This is just a normal change of mental state that we're experiencing all the time. And the important thing is not how much understanding there is at the present moment, because that's an expectation that one holds for oneself, that I should have more understanding. I should be able to see things more clearly. This is putting a burden on oneself. As Ajahn explains, that the mental states and other realities arise by conditions that are not apparent to us. So there can be no sense of expecting things to be this way or that way.
And the most important point, as Ajahn was stressing, is the understanding of just what appears now, no matter it's seeing or hearing or confusion or doubt. There can be understanding at this very moment, because they're just dhammas. They're not anyone, not you or a sage or Ajahn or anyone else. And as she was saying when Nina asked about understanding the light, we hear an expression and immediately we try to understand it or think about it. But what appears now? What about the thinking now? What about the doubt now? What about the confusion? It's only by understanding what life is at this very moment that the confidence will develop, so that no matter what we read or what we hear, no doubt that is just about different dhammas which are anatta, no one to be found, no one to guard or protect, no sage to look over, no being at all, just different dhammas arising and falling away. So that's why it has to come back to the understanding now. So we, like you say, if there's fearfulness or sadness or confusion, or these are just different dhammas. So understanding the reality that appears is more important than trying to catch the meaning or trying to experience just light or anything else. It has to be now, this moment.
And Jyotika, I just looked at the commentary to that verse, and it's referring to a couple in the Buddha's time, and it says they were a royal couple. A royal couple was childless. The Buddha declared that their childlessness was due to their not having led a harmless and harmful life. Excuse me, not having led a harmless and heedful life in a previous birth, advising them to be vigilant. And he uttered this verse. No doubt there'll be something more behind it, but he's encouraging them to put understanding above their attachments and what they were valuing differently. Obviously, they wanted to have a child, but so there will be many different ways that we can read these things at times, and I think what has been said is very appropriate. However, it's just looking at that word carefully and looking at the context of how it's presented.
Dankjewel, Sundara. For me, it's at the moment a question if it is allowed to talk about the text or that we should not do that. That we should only answer the question, what is now? What is now? So, and that's the question. And then it's also that I hesitate to ask something like this.
I think it's good. No, I
it is
think it's
just
good to
happening
bring up.
me. Yeah.
It's good to bring up the quotes and questions from the text. And
Yeah.
usually what happens is by considering further, we realize that actually they're pointing to now, but we have
Yeah.
to consider why, like, what is a sage? What is the meaning?
Yeah.
Is there a sage now? At moments of doubt, no sage to be found. At moments of understanding, is that the sage at that moment? So I think that it's helpful for everyone to bring up the quotes and to
Because,
express it as you do, like you mentioned about being fearful when you read it. So, okay, what is it about? What
It
is
was
meant
fearful.
by?
Sarah, it was fearful, but there was something completely different than before. And I think it was the discovery that I forget the thing about I, that it was in the I thing. And then I discovered that it is also, if one knew oneself to be precious, one would guard oneself with care. It is just who is doing it. I don't know who is doing it. And it is inspiration, and at the same time it's like it is, I don't know, thinking.
And how about now? Any fear now?
No, it's better. It is better to talk about it. It's true, but I was hesitating. Can I talk about it? You know,
Of course.
because it is not completely on a thing. What is happening? Yeah, what is happening now? Now you come back to this, but what happened was also with the answer from Ajahn in the beginning. Then I thought, okay, yeah, now I knew of it again that listening, that hearing and seeing and smelling, all is going on without I. That's the
fearfulness that has gone, so it's gone, so it can't, they can be thinking about it now, but because it's gone, there cannot be understanding of that quality because it's gone. But now there is seeing, there is hearing, there is thinking. So these realities can be understood because they are now. So
but it's not I who is seeing.
that's the
It's
point.
just the seeing itself. And
That's
that
the point.
and hearing, that's the same. So in
And
this whole sentence is also in this context.
right. And that's why, as Ajahn was stressing, we have to hear again and again about realities. Otherwise, we read some comments and quickly led astray and think that it's about someone guarding and someone protecting and someone knowing themselves, because of being led aside by the words that we're thinking about and forgetting about the truth of the actual realities now. Led astray is what I was trying to say. Yes. So always led astray by the ignorance and the clinging to the idea of I again and again and again. So that's why whatever we read,
Because
it
I
actually
felt
comes back to now. Yes. I think it's helpful for everyone that you brought it up, Yotika, because everyone reads the different words in the suttas about people and beings and you and I, and there are doubts and questions. So I think everyone can appreciate that
so
you
it is
bring up
also
this
about
quote.
I felt so happy with it. So this is also the feeling so happy that this is also not me. Then
How about
it's
now,
also
happy or sad?
yeah.
Because even the happiness, it just arises by conditions and then it's gone. And then the
Yeah.
sadness or fearfulness, and then it's gone. Each one,
Yeah.
not me, just different dharmas arising and falling away. And that's it, life after life like this. Pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, happiness, sadness, thinking about this and that, seeing, hearing.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And without understanding, no guarding at all.
Yeah.
So Jan would like to add more comments as well.
I think that just says something like understand now or what is there now. It's not enough, because how can the understanding arise to understand that? It's very important too. That's why no matter what is there in life, fear or attachment or whatever, when there's a little more understanding of the truth, it can condition understanding of that when it's there, appearing. That's why we learn about what is there, not just thinking about it by oneself, but to understand the truth that what is there, not just seeing moment of fear or what fear is. That's why Buddha taught all about each reality in a moment which cannot be known by oneself. For example, shall we talk about fear, to understand fear in order to understand when it's there as it is, now or then or any time. So it's true, understand what is there when it's there. But how come the understanding of the truth is not easy at all? That's why we don't just talk about the word, but there can be a little understanding of each different realities. So what is the nature of fear has to be known. So when it's there, right understanding can let go the idea of I am fearful or I fear this or that. That's why learn a little more of what Buddha said about whatever is there in life, no matter it's fear or pleasant moment or doubt or whatever. That's why we can talk about the truth of what is there that Buddha taught in details to understand a little more, a little more. That is the way, the only way to let go ignorance and attachment and wrong understanding, taking it for something permanent, because understand the nature, the function, the near condition, and so on. Begin to see it as it is, little by little, in order to understand what is there now. not just think about it, but what is there from hearing, considering, and the truth can be learned at moment when it's there. So we can talk about any reality at any time. We can talk about fear. What is it? Otherwise, it's there unknown. It's only fear appearing, no understanding of fear. That's why we can talk about what Buddha said about everything as it is in details and in truth, deeper and deeper truth to be known little by little. So now there can be the understanding of that which arises to experiences in false way cannot be taken for anything permanent at all. And that which is experienced just is there when it's experienced and then gone. And that's why we learn about what is there from moment to moment, in a moment of what is there so very different from moments to moments. That's why what is fear, in order to understand it when it's there, is it real? And what is its nature?
Fear.
So what is fear? A reality,
Yeah.
because it's conditioned to arise, to be fear. But what is the nature of it?
The nature of fear.
Yes.
Shaking.
Is it citta, the chief of experiencing?
It's a Cetasika.
Not at all. At the moment when fear appears, citta does not show up to be different from fear. That's why we learn to understand that fear is a reality. It's there by condition, by way of classification. What is it?
Cetasika.
Yes. What kind of cetasika?
Unwholesome.
What kind of unwholesomeness?
Unwholesome Cetasika.
Unwholesome. That is it. But there are so many unwholesome realities. What is that which is fear? To understand that there is not just only one wholesome reality, so many that can be known. Little by little.
Has it to do with dosa? Or
Yes.
with amoha?
But
Moha?
fear itself cannot be moha.
No.
Fear
But it
is right.
in connection with dosa.
It is.
You want something you don't want and you want to get it away. Something
It
like
has to be a reality. See?
it is a reality.
Yes. Precise one.
Precise.
Fear is dosa, right?
Aversion.
And
Dosa, as you said the first time, Yotika, that was right the first time. Dosa.
Dosa.
what do you mean? Oh, excuse me. It's dosa, right? And if you don't use the word dosa, it's an aspect of dosa, right?
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
That's why even the cetasika, which is dosa, has many aspects too, appearing. At moment of not giving anything that you have thought to give it away to him, to that person. What is there?
I
You
don't
think
understand
you
at the
will
moment,
give
Ajahn.
pardon?
I don't understand what you are asking at the
Okay.
moment.
We think, or I think that I would give this to that person. But when time comes, no giving done at all. What is there? Not giving as thinking to give, but not give. What's there? See, this is life. Learn to understand not the word, but the aspect of realities.
Yes, this aspect of this fear.
Who knows, without understanding what can be there at moment of thinking to give and then no giving when time comes. And that is daily life, not self, no one, but what is there to be known, little by little, of different aspects of all kinds of realities.
There was a kind of shame also.
Okay.
And there was a kind of losing, because I was so happy with this sentence and I felt so good with it, and maybe the discovering that it was all not true, that I was in this complete thing from me. I forgot this whole no self, while I have the idea I know it quite often, but yeah,
It's only the idea of
it's the
I.
idea of I.
That's why whatever is taken for eyes in a day, different realities, even I will not, see, I again will not. I'll do, I again.
Yeah.
I fear, I again. Always I. But the nature of each reality is different in a day. It's different today from yesterday,
Yes.
or this moment to other moment. But they're all real, but it's not known. They are not known as they are at all, because different aspects of just one reality, like attachment of dosa, see, or moha.
Attachment, I think also.
That's why we learn a little more about different realities. At that moment of understanding, it let it go at level of intellectual understanding,
Yeah.
but not enough. The idea of self has to be completely eradicated at moment of realizing the truth. Not enough again.
Yeah.
In a day,
Yeah.
the right understanding is that applying that experiencing of understanding to whatever is there, little by little, by conditions. For example, there is the understanding that actually what is there is only that which cannot experience, and that which can experience only that. But so many different kinds and aspects. That's why no matter what is there, Buddha taught about the truth of all aspects of even just one reality. For example, patient is not I. So what is it? See,
Species. Yeah. It's not I. It was the
wholesome
discovery.
way or unwholesome way.
Yeah.
More to learn about in a day to understand the moment when it's there. Closer and closer to now it's there, what appears. There are so many realities together, but what is now appearing, can it be known or not yet? That's why we learn a little more of the conditions for its arising. Not yet direct understanding of it. That's why we learn a little more about conditions for its arising. To condition moment of beginning to understand, it has to be in such a way as it appears from by different conditions. Learn little by little to understand the truth. Not just think about letting go the idea of self. It's only thinking. And what is there at moment of thinking such? That thought.
So
What
this fear was a good thing.
is so much in a day or in one's life. That's why we learn a little more about the truth of its reality in a day. So now there's no fear, nothing can stay, it's not there anymore. And fear of what? See, different kinds. Fear of disease, having disease, or fear of what? Any kind.
Fear to lose that I knew it, I think. This is the thing.
And as long as it's their conditioned, no one or nothing can stop its arising at all.
Yes.
That's why when will there be no fear at all? Not just thinking that I will have no fear or I will not fear anything at all, but depending on conditions. And all depends on right understanding, stage by stage. If there's the understanding of the impermanence of everything, even fear is there. It's just a reality which is there, never lasts.
Yeah.
And learn more than that at moment of seeing, it's not fear.
Yeah.
That's why being acquainted to the characteristic of that which is there, experiencing or not experiencing as different moments, different aspects, can condition the moment of letting go, ignorance, attachment, and all kinds of unwholesome reality, doubt, and so on, little by little. Otherwise, how can the truth of this moment be directly experienced as it's not there? And what appears is not that which is taken by nimitta to be something like the table, the chair, and so on. That's why beginning to understand the world. Usually it's my world, I'm in the world. But when there's a little more understanding, what is the world? It's just when it's there. And when it's gone, never to arise again. In samsara, learn to understand. And the moment of understanding, it let go by itself. At moment of understanding. So fear of what? Fear what? In life, it's this truth, not permanent.
Yeah.
And there can be condition to begin to understand the characteristic of fear as just a reality, not seeing, not hearing. Moment after experiencing an object, condition fear to arise. When the object is unpleasant, so at that moment it's dosa.
Yeah.
Just like that, to be there, to be experienced, to appear. So at moment of thinking about it, there can be the understanding what is there thinking too. Learn to understand a little more of each moment as no one, no thing, no self. Gradually, the level of intellectual understanding has to be so firm that it can condition moment of directly understanding what is there now appearing by conditions. So it's time to be truthful to the truth at moment of understanding. No one there. Understanding arises and understand what is there. Even thinking wisely, considering wisely, begin to attend to the characteristic which has been thought about, heard about, understood, little by little, about that which appears. It, at moment of seeing, what appears is always something seen, but in truth, beginning to have a little more confidence. Actually, it's not as it appears as someone or something at all. Little by little, it can condition moment of whenever seeing or that which is seen there can be very slight moment of beginning to attain to that characteristic. And that is not direct awareness yet. That's why learn to understand what is there. So very subtle in life, in a day, to be known little by little as it is. Before there can be letting go the idea of self, it's not that I have heard. It's not as that I'm trying to experience it. That is not true. It's the trap of attachment and ignorance. That's why learn to understand life as it is. So is fear also life?
Yeah, fear is in life. Is
We
there?
learn to
Was there
understand life as it is.
at the
Not
moment? At the moment is happiness. And very
and
thankful.
what moment cannot be fear at all. See, there must be conditions for everything to arise. As long as there is ignorance of fear and whatever is there, there must be fear. When time comes or when that situation is there, for fearfulness. That is beginning to understand life, beginning to understand the truth of life, beginning to learn that actually, when we talk about the truth, it leads to understand the truth that actually it's just in a moment and then gone. It cannot be taken for anything else at all.
Sadhu, 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 sadhu.
Yotika, isn't it a relief to begin to understand more and more, to appreciate that there is no self, no Yotika who can do anything or should do anything?
It's true.
Just dharmas arising by conditions and gone. Nothing to be done.
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah.
We don't have a lot of time left. Does anyone else have anything they would like to bring up? Sita or Carmen or anyone? Alberto? Alan?
And this moment cannot be known at all when there's not enough understanding of what is there. Not just seeing, but no matter what is there in a moment. Can be known little by little from hearing, considering, until it develops on and on, different degrees of understanding of what is there now. So when we understand what is there can be different answer, but right answer. What is there now? Depending on understanding of what is there that has been known or heard about. Otherwise, it is just in the book.
Sita, were you about to say something?
Yes, Sarah, thank you. I was considering about this seven universal, and each has their own function. But then, okay, Phassa is like contacting, the function is contacting. But about Vedana, this feeling, could you, Ajahn, or explain a little the function of Vedana, this Khandha? Like Sanya is the function is to remember. And Cetana is volition. I was considering about Vedana, the function. Try to.
So the Vedana feels, it feels
Okay.
the object, experiences the object, the same object as the Chitta, with either pleasant or unpleasant or neutral feeling. So at moments of fear, it feels, it experiences the object that is thought about with unpleasant feeling. At the moment of happiness, which Yotika mentioned, the feeling is pleasant, no matter whether it's happiness with lobha or happiness with understanding. The Vedana feels the object in a pleasant way. And at moments of ignorance or moments of seeing or hearing, the feeling experiences the object, but in a neutral way. So no pleasant feeling, no unpleasant feeling. So it tastes the object.
Oh, the function. Okay.
The function is to taste the object in a with pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral feeling.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Every moment in life.
Yeah. Thank you. I was jotting down, there are three kinds of manasikara. Yeah. Am I right? And then one is to attend to the object. And the other one is striking the object. I think in the last discussion, Ajahn mentioned. And there's also another one, this vitaka is touching the object.
When we refer to the three kinds of manasikara, one is the cetasika that is one of the seven universals, which attends to the object at every moment in life. And the other two refer to particular kinds of cittas. So one is the citta, which arises at the beginning of the sense door process, the Vitipadika Manasikara. And the other one is the citta, which precedes the Javana cittas. So the Javana Patipadika Manasikara. So these two refer to particular cittas. Without the citta arising at the beginning of the sense door process, the other cittas cannot follow. And without the citta preceding the Javana cittas, they cannot follow. But the first one is the cetasika that attends to the object. When you mentioned vitaka is another cetasika, the cetasika which touches or leads to the object. But at moments of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching, these cittas don't need vitaka to lead to the object. But afterwards, the cittas need vitaka to lead the citta and cetasikas to experience the object. So different from manasikara.
And vitaka is mental factors, yes?
Yes, it's a Cetasika.
Okay. And I was also considering about Chetana, Cetasika and Cetasika and Chitta, they arise and falls together. And Chitta cannot function without Cetasikas.
Right. So for a Chitta to experience an object, at least 7 Cetasikas have to arise with it to experience the object. And after seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching, more Cetasikas are needed to experience the object. So this is why Vitaka is needed to lead to the object. To think now about what is being said, Vitaka has to accompany the Chitta to think about the object, to think about the sound, to think about the visible object that's seen. So there are always many Cetasikas arising with the Chitta performing their function. And the Cetasikas and the Chitta all condition each other, but only the Chitta is the leader in experiencing the object.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dharma.
Is there any feeling right now?
Yes, Ajahn.
What kind of feeling?
Yeah. After understanding the Dhamma, I have a very different kind of feeling.
So what kind of feeling arises with seeing moment?
Pleasant feeling.
At moment of seeing, only seeing, what kind of feeling is there? Just see. The see itself has to arise with feeling, a kind of feeling. Whenever there is moment of experiencing an object, it conditions feeling to arise too, to feel towards that object which is experienced.
Okay.
So right now they're seeing. What kind of seeing arises with seeing?
No.
Is it pleasant?
Yes, yes.
No, the pleasant feeling cannot arise with seeing at all.
Okay.
That's why we learn a little more about its reality to understand even feeling, when a kind of feeling is there, indifferent feeling, pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, mentally or bodily. That's why we learn a little more to let go the idea of self, learn about feeling. What kind of feeling arises with the body consciousness? Is there now?
Sukha, is this sukha?
Always?
Not always. There's sometimes sukha, sometimes dukkha. Dukkha.
Sometimes.
Most of the time, dukkha.
Well, what about sometimes, not most? realities arises all and falls away succeedingly in a split second. That's why it cannot be known directly, but it can be thought about, studied, the condition for even feeling. What conditions such and such pleasant feeling? Because feeling cannot arise by itself. It has to be conditioned to arise differently at different moments. That's why it's time to let go, taking feeling for I, no matter what kind of feeling. But we learn a little more, to understand a little more, to condition moment of understanding that even it's different by conditions.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Yeah, we can teach a little more about what is there anytime at that very moment when it's there. For example, feeling right now. So I think there is time.
Thank you, Ajahn.
สวัสดีค่ะ
Thank you, Ajahn. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Tanajan. Swadika.
สวัสดีครับท่านอาจารย์สวัสดีครับ Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Sarah. Thank
Yeah.
you, Jonathan.
See you next week or during the week.